that give us the right of freedom of speech, that give us the right to be citizens of this great country. A country made of immigrants that live and reside on stolen land, that give us the right to stand up for justice and stand up against inequality. Trump, the Constitution that gives us a right to say that you are a bigot, you are a fascist, you are a racist. Trump, you are a pharaoh who supports terrorism, the killing of innocent men, women, and children. Your ceasefire was a facade. Your ceasefire was a charade. Your ceasefire was a lie. These lies that they want to feed the world. They don't want the world to be awakened by voices like Mahmoud Khalil and all of the others at universities and protests and more. Because these voices make the truth visible. These voices help reality become clear, that their support, Trump's support for Zionists, Trump's support for Zionist maniacs and terrorists is the call of today. So today, in ending, Mr. President, we want to say that we are clear about who we are. We are the believers who stand up for God's people. We are the believers who stand up for justice, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your color, your race, and where you come from. We are the believers who believe in the constitutional freedoms that we have been granted that you, Mr. Trump, are trying to take away from us. We believe that you can beat us, that you can imprison us, that you can torture us, that you can lie about us. But the one thing you can't do, Mr. President, is that you can't silence us. For every Mahmoud Khalil that you oppress, Mr. President, for every child and innocent woman that you kill, Mr. President, for every support of Zionist terrorism that you support, Mr. President, you will only further raise the voices and hearts of millions of believers who will say, we can't be silenced. We will not go away as long as there is air to breathe, land to live on, and voices to scream and yell from mountaintops. We will continue to exist and we will continue to survive. I end with the cries of our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for us and He is the best disposer of affairs.
Thank you, Imam. We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Bring Mahmoud home now!
Bring Mahmoud home now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Hands up for students now!
Hands up our students now!
We want to bring up our next speaker, Amy from the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice.
Good morning. My name is Amy. I'm with New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice. We are the state's largest immigration coalition. We are the state's largest immigration coalition in a state that has a higher proportion of immigrants than New York, than Arizona, than Texas, and than Florida. And together, 60 organizations from every corner of the state fight for policies that empower and protect immigrants. What does it look like to protect immigrants? It means showing up and showing out on days like this to demand that our rights are respected, to demand that our civil liberties are upheld. And what does it mean to empower immigrants? It means organizing to make sure that the systems that lock us behind bars, that deny us due process, that violate our rights and deny our civil liberties are confronted and destroyed. Most of all, that means ICE. It is no surprise that ICE arrested Mahmoud Khalil. This is an agency born in the nationalist fervor of post-9/11 xenophobia. From its inception, ICE has only targeted people that are part of the political fringe. They have only targeted people that they view to be voiceless, and they exercise their ability to indefinitely detain and deport people as a means of being a tool of a fascist regime. We know that Mahmoud was not the first. Here in New Jersey at Elizabeth Detention Center, the very same place where he first was detained, Hector Garcia Mendoza was a whistleblower who filed a class action lawsuit against ICE. What did ICE do? Against a court order, they transferred him. Against a court order, they deported him to Mexico. This was in 2020. No one has heard from Hector since. Why does ICE do this? Because they know detention is bad, but they also know deportation is deadly. That's why they went after Mahmoud. That's why they've gone after Jeanette Vizguera in Colorado, a 30-year immigration activist. That's why they went after a farm worker labor leader, to make sure that they are silencing those that they believe to be the least politically powerful. Yes, this is about Palestine, and also this is not about Palestine. This is about this administration taking the issue that they believe is the least sympathetic and making an example out of the people that they arrest so that they can dehumanize the issue, they can dehumanize the actors, they can dehumanize the people standing up as a means of going after every single one of us. It's Palestine today, but it's every single issue that we care about tomorrow. If we cannot stand up for this, we will not be able to stand up for anything else because there will be fewer and fewer and fewer of us left. In my family's native language, there's a saying, "Huwag matakot." It means do not be afraid. This was a chant used during the Marcos regime to overthrow people in power. The same regime that was disappearing people through political arrest, the same regime that was killing people. It is not that different from where we are today. They're using fear as the jail cell that exists in our minds. If they do not detain us physically, they are trying to detain us spiritually as a means of silencing us, and we are here to say, not on our watch. When I say immigrant, you say power. Immigrant. Power. Immigrant. Power. When I say immigrant, you say power. Immigrant. Power. Immigrant. Power. Free Mahmoud, free all political prisoners detained by ICE. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Our next speaker is Muhammad from American Muslims for Palestine. Please help us welcome him.
Release Mahmoud right now! Release Mahmoud right now! I begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the Avenger of the oppressed, and the Guardian of all those in distress. We stand here on the final Friday of the blessed month of Ramadan. A holy time for Muslims around the world, for Muslims in Palestine who commemorated this month in famine, for Muslims and Palestine supporters here in the US who commemorated this month as the Trump administration began to escalate its war on our voices. It's been less than 3 weeks since Mahmoud was kidnapped. In that time, we've seen over half a dozen more Palestinian voices or supporters kidnapped as well. Shame. In that time, we've seen Israel break the ceasefire and commit what is now known as the Ramadan massacre, with over 700 people killed in less than 24 hours, 200 of them children. And the Trump administration will deport you for saying that. We are in this moment We are facing this repression for one reason and one reason alone. It is because our movement is growing. It is because our movement is popular. It is because Americans are rejecting Israel's genocide. Our movement is taking on this fight for our country. There are those who claim to be in opposition to Trump, to be in opposition to the fascism that is coming out of this government, who claim to be against DOGE, to claim to be in support of immigrant rights. But in this moment, they won't talk about Mahmoud Khalil. There are those in the political opposition who will say, we don't support what he said, but he shouldn't be arrested. No, Mahmoud didn't say anything wrong. And for those who refuse to stand for Palestine, we will remember, because our movement is fighting for justice for Palestine, and for justice in this country. This case is about the kind of America that we want. Will we live in a democratic nation that upholds its values, its constitution and laws, or will we allow it to be reshaped into an authoritarian state that suppresses dissent and silences justice? No. Our movement, like the people of Gaza, will not be defeated. Like the people of Gaza, we will not back down. We will not back down for Mahmoud. We will not back down for Liqa. We will not back down for any of our students. And we will not back down for Palestine. Thank you very much.
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Free Mahmoud right now!
Free Mahmoud right now!
Free Mahmoud right now!
Free Mahmoud right now!
We want to introduce our next speaker, Murad Awadeh from the New York Immigration Coalition, the president and CEO. As Amy had shared, this is not just a fight for Palestine, this is a fight for every person who is oppressed and marginalized. They are going to target each and every one of us, and it is important that we come out and fight like hell right now. So I would love to introduce Murad from the New York Immigration Coalition.
Thank you. And assalamu alaikum. My name is Murad Awauda. I'm the president and CEO of the New York Immigration Coalition. And we are living in some interesting times, brothers and sisters. We are living at the beginning of what is becoming an authoritarian regime.
Talk about it.
And why am I talking about authoritarianism in this moment is because it's important to notice what the signs are of what happens. And the first step is centralizing authority and executive dominance. The second step is the control of information and state propaganda. The third is the security apparatus and state surveillance. The fourth is them legitimizing their strategies. And the fifth is co-opting elites and institutions. The sixth is the divide and rule.
That's right.
And as we're standing here fighting for the freedom of Mahmoud Khalil, who has disappeared away from his family, away from his 8-month, almost 9-month now, pregnant wife who's about to give birth to their child. In a moment where you should be celebrating bringing new life into this world. And inshallah, she does and has an easy and quick recovery. And inshallah, we have Mahmoud by her side. Today is really important for a number of different reasons. Mahmoud was the first student, the first pro-Palestine supporting, protesting student who was disappeared. He's not the only anymore. They've disappeared Badr, they've disappeared Ramziya, Leica, and so many others. This is the fight we must fight in this moment to continue to demand their release. Because if they come for one of them, they're going to have to face us all. Because they're coming for all of us. And they started this administration by saying that they're going after, these violent criminals to deport them. That doesn't seem to be the case. They're not going after people who they shouldn't be going after anyone to begin with, because people have the right to due process. But the reality is that they're going after every single person that does not align with their agenda. And we have to stand up and fight back. And the only way we can do that is if we're united. So today, we hope the court hears our voices. We hope that they order Mahmoud returned to New York and released. Because that is why we are all here. And I want to thank you all on a Friday morning making it out to Newark. I know many of you are from New Jersey. And it's about the New York, New Jersey unity. And I want to give a shout out to the New Jersey Immigrant Alliance for Justice for always showing up and showing out. And with that, I just want to leave you on a last message, which is we will see more of these types of actions. And regardless of what the excuse this administration gives, I urge you to continue to fight for justice. I urge you to continue to fight for one another, because we are all bound to each other, and it is important and critical that we continue to show up. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. Let's keep the energy up. Let's make our solidarity heard from inside the courthouse. Let's do it. We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Release Mahmoud right now!
Release Mahmoud right now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Release Mahmoud right now!
Release Mahmoud right now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Hands off our students now!
Hands off our students now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Hands off our students now!
Hands off our students now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
occupation.
Not for war and occupation.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for war and deportation.
Not for war and deportation.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for war and occupation.
Not for war and occupation.
Up, up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down, down with deportation.
Down, down with deportation.
Up, up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down, down with deportation.
Down, down with deportation.
Up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down, down with occupation.
Down, down with occupation.
Up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down, down with occupation.
Down, down with occupation.
Say it loud and say it clear.
Say it loud and say it clear.
ICE is not welcome here.
ICE is not welcome here.
Say it loud and say it clear.
Say it loud and say it clear.
ICE is not welcome here.
ICE is not welcome here.
Say it loud and say it clear.
Say it loud and say it clear.
ICE is not welcome here.
ICE is not welcome here.
Say it loud and say it clear.
Say it loud and say it clear.
ICE is not welcome here.
ICE is not welcome here.
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Free Mahmoud right now.
Free Mahmoud right now.
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Free Mahmoud right now.
Free Mahmoud right now.
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Hands off our students now.
Hands off our students now.
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Hands off our students now.
Hands off our students now.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Let's make some noise. Please give a warm welcome to our next speaker, Allison from the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Free Palestine.
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 Today, we say enough is enough of the cruel and inhumane deportations tearing our communities apart. ICE is carrying out a massive invasions of our neighborhoods, hunting down our family members, our friends, our neighbors, and now our students. Shame! Let's be clear that targeting the persecution and the abduction of students who dare to take a stance against Palestine is a clear violation of human rights, regardless of their immigration status. It's been 20 days since Mahmoud Khalil was abducted from his home by ICE agents. It's been 3 days since Rumeisa Ozturk was also abducted by plainclothes agents. What happened to them and many others is a blatant attack on free speech, an attack made to send a clear message that fighting back will be punished. Trump is purposely persecuting leaders and participants of the massive movement against the genocide in Palestine. This is a mere tactic to instill fear on those who dare to oppose his policies and fight back. The repression of the pro-Palestine movement is only the beginning of his right-wing billionaire agenda to suppress our civil liberties. We can't let these attacks on our community go quietly. We need to take a stance now and let Trump know that we will stand up and fight to protect our rights. We are only witnessing this level of repression because they know that our movement is growing and will only continue to grow. They have not been able to suppress our knowledge and our commitment to Palestine, so they are now attempting to suppress our right to free speech. While the Trump administration here continues to attack social services at home, we have only seen an escalation to the genocide in Palestine. Trump has now directly endorsed an agenda of open ethnic cleansing, and still, the incredible and unbreakable resilience of the Palestinian people has awakened millions of people worldwide to a movement for liberation over the last 18 months. Now is not the time to be afraid. Now, more than ever, it's the time to remain steadfast in our solidarity and our commitment to the struggle for a free Palestine. That is why on April 5th, we are taking the people's power to Washington, D.C. It's imperative that we show our strength and descend in overwhelming numbers. We're going to have buses leaving from here, New Jersey and New York. You can go purchase your ticket at marchforpalestine.org/bus. And it's important that every single one of you shows up. It's important that every single one of you shows up, because we need to let Trump know that we have to stand up and fight back until all of our demands are met. Immediate and permanent ceasefire. Arms embargo now. Stop the repression at home. Stop the genocide and free Mahmoud. Up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down with deportation.
Down with deportation.
Up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down with deportations.
Down with deportation.
Up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down with deportation.
Down with deportation.
Up with liberation.
Up with liberation.
Down with deportation.
Down with deportation.
Please help us welcome our next speaker, Nolan from Noditol for Korean Community Development.
Thank you, Tihal. My name is Nolan, and I'm with Noditol for Korean Community Development. And I'm here to talk about Yoon So Chung. Like Mahmoud Khalil, Yoon So Chung is a Columbia student and permanent resident faced with deportation. Yoon So moved here from Korea at 7 years of age, was valedictorian of her high school, and until 3 days ago was being actively hunted by ICE. Yoon So stood up against Columbia University's support for genocide, just as our elders and ancestors stood against the occupation of Korea. She placed the cause for Palestinian liberation before her own security. And it's our job now to show her and Mahmoud that they're cared for and they're supported by all of us. People claim that Yoon So and Mahmoud invited repression into their lives, but compliance will never protect us. Collective power is what protects us. And now is not the time for despair. We need to show our government and the rest of the world how proud we are of these organizers like Yoon So and Mahmoud, and how their views are representative of a powerful and united movement. How all these cases are inseparable. This is not about immigration status. This is about our government punishing those it disagrees with. Those who expose the predatory nature of imperialism. This administration wants to make examples out of organizers because our efforts have been working. We've exposed countless institutions, companies, government officials for supporting Israeli apartheid and a bloody genocide, and they've been forced to suffer the consequences. This administration thinks they're weakening our movement. They think we'll cave into despair. But we have something that they could never comprehend. We have our humanity. We have our unrelenting hunger for liberation, and we have each other. They're fighting for money and luxury. We're fighting for our lives and for our martyrs. And look around. These are the organizers you can depend on. These are the people that will pack the court if ICE comes and kidnaps you in your home. These are the people that will continue to fight after Palestine is free.
Up with liberation!
Up with liberation!
Down with Zionist occupation!
Down with Zionist occupation!
Up with liberation!
Up with liberation!
Down with... Yep. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Right now, Mahmoud's court justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Free Mahmoud right now.
Free Mahmoud right now.
We want to next introduce an organization that has been here in Newark, building community ties, organizing and mobilizing. We want to introduce Larry Ham from the People's Organization for Progress.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. Why are we here today? We're here today because we demand freedom for Mahmoud Khalil. Mahmoud Khalil has been branded a criminal. He's been branded a criminal, and they kidnapped him and spirited him away to a prison in Louisiana. They labeled Mahmoud a criminal, but the real criminals are the ones that arrested Mahmoud and put him in jail. Those are the real criminals. We demand freedom and we demand justice for Mahmoud. We're standing here today in front of a statue of justice. It's supposed to be a symbolic representation of justice. And this statue has a blindfold, which is supposed to symbolize that justice is blind. But if justice were truly blind, Khalil Mahmoud would not be in prison. We're standing here today at a federal courthouse in Newark, New Jersey. But do you know the name of this federal courthouse? It's right there in front of you on the lawn. Believe it or not, this is the Martin Luther King Federal Courthouse. Imagine that, putting Martin Luther King's name on an institution that in fact practices injustice. I believe that if Martin Luther King were alive today, and if he happened to be in New Jersey, he would be standing here with us demanding justice for Mahmoud Khalil. We demand justice for Mahmoud, but we also demand an end to the genocidal war in Gaza. And we also demand an end to military aid to Israel. Brothers and sisters, I'm 71 years old. I was a student at Princeton University in the 1970s, in 1974, when we were campaigning against the racist apartheid regime in South Africa. We took over at Princeton University. We took over Nassau Hall, a federally recognized landmark. We took it over for 3 days and 3 nights. We took it over and no one was arrested. The police didn't even show up. No one was arrested. For 50 years, students at Princeton had protested for all different causes for justice. No one was ever arrested. But after the initiation of this genocidal war in Gaza, they intensified the oppression not only of the people of Palestine, but they intensified the oppression and repression of people at home. We demand justice for all the students who have been protesting against the genocidal war in Gaza. In 2 weeks, a student at Princeton will go on trial. She was arrested. She was a graduate student. She will go on trial. And so will students across this country. But I tell you, it is not these students who should be on trial. It is the college, university presidents that will not stand up for freedom of speech. Don't preach to me about how these universities are some type of citadels for democracy, that somehow they are the guardians of the Bill of Rights. They are locking up students. They've locked up students all over this country. But I tell you this, it is the students who are on the right side of history. Just as students protested against the war in Vietnam, just as students protested against apartheid in South Africa, the students today who are demanding human rights, who are demanding liberation, who are demanding an end to genocide in Gaza, they are on the right side of history. And brothers and sisters, I stand with you in complete solidarity. There's no sunlight between us. In solidarity to demand justice for Mahmoud Khalil, but I would be deleterious in my responsibility as an activist if I did not stand here and also demand freedom for Mumia Abu-Jamal. I would be remiss in my duty if I did not demand freedom for Imam Jamil Al-Amin A-Trap Brown. I would be remiss in my duty if I did not demand freedom for all the political prisoners in the United States of America. Khalil's struggle is our struggle, and our struggle is Khalil's struggle. That's right. When black people like myself stand up for Palestinians, we are standing up in the spirit of our freedom fighters. Malcolm X supported the liberation of the Palestinian people and went to Palestine. Muhammad Ali supported the liberation of the Palestinian people and went to Palestine. The Black Panther Party celebrated and supported the liberation struggle of the people of Palestine. I was 15 years old when I was a student at Arts High School, and a member of the Newark Black Panther Party gave me a Black Panther newspaper, and in 1968, that was the first time I learned about the struggle of the Palestinian people. So we have a long history. We have a long history. And I'm so glad to be here with you. Look at us who are here today. Come on, who? We are black and white and brown and yellow and red. We are Christian. We are Muslim. We are believers. We are atheists. We are people of all stripes. This is a microcosm of the movement that we must build in America so that we can not only free Palestine, but free the oppressed peoples in the United States of America. So we'll be here as long as it takes. We say, yes, go to Washington on April the 5th, but next week, April the 4th, is the anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King didn't die a natural death. Dr. King was a target of state terror. Yes, there's something called state terror. And black people, we know about fascism. People are saying black people have been under fascism since we've been in this country. What is slavery but fascism? I saw that young woman get snatched off the street in Somerville, in what was that, Massachusetts, the other day. You know what that was reminiscent of? It was reminiscent of slave catching. See, we know about being snatched off the street. We know about being disappeared. We know about being treated brutally and inhumanely. That's why we can relate to this struggle to demand freedom for Muhammad Khalil. This is a great struggle, brothers and sisters. Let us continue to build this movement for Muhammad Khalil, build this movement to free Palestine, but let's build a movement for the radical transformation of the United States of America. Free Mahmoud Khalil! Free Mahmoud Khalil! Free Mahmoud Khalil! No justice! No justice! No justice! No justice! If there ain't gonna be no justice,
let's give it up for Larry from the People's Organization for Progress. Next, we want to introduce Rabbi Deutsch from the organization Neturei Karta. For a long time, we've been told that our movement is an anti-Semitic movement, but we are not an anti-Semitic movement. We are an anti-Zionist movement. And for so long, the media and the ruling class, they will try to paint us as an anti-Semitic movement, but we have shown that we are on the side of justice. We are on the side of liberation for Palestine, and we are so happy to be joined
But now as these crimes unfold and the Zionists have shed rivers of blood since the establishment of the state, Jewish people are standing up and declaring this is not Judaism. We also need to remind ourselves of the beautiful peace that did exist in Palestine. Prior to the movement of Zionism, a beautiful peace. The Zionists don't want you should hear this, but we lived in peace. The only problem is this brutal occupation for over 76 years. Blood on both sides, Jews and Palestinians. The Zionists are responsible for this bloodshed. No matter how many times they will repeat their propaganda lies, we will stand fast. We will stand with Muhammad Khalil. To those brave students who are standing up, we Jewish people admire them and urge them to continue their courageous stance. I will conclude that I am pleading with the world leaders, I am pleading with President Trump, the senators, all the officials. We are pleading they should stop the Zionist propaganda and release all who are standing on the right side of history. The evil Zionist movement will not be forever. We will see soon a free Palestine. Then they will be on the right side in history sooner nowadays. Thank you.
We want justice, you say how? Release Mahmoud right now! Release Mahmoud right now! Release Mahmoud right now! Please help us welcome our next speaker, Besma, from the Palestinian American Community Center here in New Jersey.
My name is Besma Sharat. I'm the Palestine Education Director at the Palestinian American Community Center of New Jersey. I want to begin by extending gratitude to all the advocates, organizers, and community members who stand united with us here today. I also want to send our love and strength to Noor, Mahmoud's wife, who's going through the most difficult times of her life right now. As a community center, we are a living testament to the very real fear and threat that our community members are facing right now. We are witnessing firsthand the tangible threat to our very existence. Simply being Palestinian is under attack. And this is not an abstract fear. It is a present and daily reality that we are being forced to confront. The attack on Mahmoud is not just an attack on him. The attack on Mahmoud is an attack on all of us. It is not a hypothetical concern, it's a very real and imminent danger. And as we see with each passing day, it's already happening to more and more of our community members. We live in the United States of America. We are supposed to be served by institutions that uphold justice, truth, and the rights of all people. The right to freedom of speech is the foundation of this country. And it is not a privilege, it's a right that has been earned by generations of struggle. And yet, today, this right of freedom of speech is under attack. The threat to speaking out is not just about Mahmoud, it's not just about the Palestinian community. We have heard this warning for decades. Palestine is the litmus test. Today, the assault is on Palestine and those advocating for Palestine. Tomorrow, it'll be on anyone who dares to speak out for justice, for truth, for dignity. We must be clear. What happens to Mahmoud could happen to any one of us. This is not just a Palestinian issue. It's an issue for everyone who believes in free speech, human rights, and basic human dignity. This is about a system that criminalizes marginalized communities, silences dissent, and perpetuates cycles of violence against anyone who dares to speak out. Calling out the indiscriminate killing of children, the slaughter of hundreds of thousands of people should not be problematic. Naming a present-day genocide should not be controversial.
Just for a moment.